Justin Trudeau is not having a good week. As a matter of fact, he's not having a good year. Is it time for him to consider resigning? Is it time for him to pull a Biden, to step aside and let someone else lead the party into the next elections? We're here to talk about that today. You know, I'm going to start with the example, the comparison to Biden. Joe Biden was adamant about running for a second term, and he thought he could win, and he was in the midst of his campaign. Finally, through a number of events, he was convinced that he couldn't beat Donald Trump. And despite his intention and his desire to be president another term, he stepped aside. And we all saw the enthusiasm that gripped the Democratic Party after that. Didn't work out. Trump did get elected, but nonetheless, Biden stepping aside changed the campaign. And there's a lot of thought that maybe Justin Trudeau should do that. And maybe it'll give a much better chance to the Liberal Party to stop the Conservatives from forming the next government. Because right now, I've got to tell you, if you look at those polls, right now, according to estimates and expert opinions, there is a 97% chance of the Conservatives forming a majority government, a 2% chance of the Conservatives forming a minority government, and a 1% chance of the Liberals forming any kind of government at all. Now, you can tell me what you want about polls, and I know polls are inaccurate, and I know that Justin Trudeau has won elections where he was behind in the polls in the past, but these numbers are staggering and beyond ignoring, because they're real. The latest statistics show that the Conservatives have the support of 43%, and the Liberals are less than half at about 21, sometimes 22. And it goes across the country. British Columbia, Alberta, the Western provinces, Ontario, the Maritimes, Quebec. He's not winning anywhere. So what are the chances that Justin Trudeau could lead us to a successful election victory next year? I'd say pretty close to zero. Now, it's not impossible, but it's not looking good. So maybe Justin should be thinking about stepping down. Now, if he does that, it impacts a lot of people. There's the impact on Justin Trudeau himself, the impact on the Liberal Party and what it means to them. What does it mean to the Conservative Party if he suddenly resigns? And last, and perhaps most important, what does it mean to you, the Canadian voter and the Canadian taxpayer? All things we're going to talk about today, so let's move forward. In this video, I'm going to make my thoughts and opinions clear, but I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think, and that's what the comments below are for. Tell me, do you support Justin Trudeau or are you opposed to him? And even if you support him, do you think he should resign or should he stay on and lead through the next election campaign? Engage. Let me know what you think. I think it's really important for all Canadians to express opinions on both sides, no matter what they think. And I encourage everyone to express themselves, and please add your comments below. I'm going to tell you my own views of Justin Trudeau. He's had 3 terms in office. I've been neither a big supporter nor a big opponent of him. I guess you could say that I've passively approved of what he's done. He led us through COVID. And, despite a lot of the hate campaign against him and what he did with COVID, we did pretty damn well compared to a lot of places, including the United States. Our governments reacted. Now, a lot of that was provincial reaction. I think, people keep talking to me about how, Justin Trudeau locked down the country and destroyed our economy. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but most of those decisions were made by provincial premiers. It was Ford in Ontario who kept shutting down the province, a Conservative. So, there are things that Justin Trudeau may have issues with. Our economy is not in good shape. Our deficit is pretty large. But I'm going to talk about him and the issues I disagree with him. I think he did a good job in COVID. He's brought about a few changes that I agree with. One of them, as a result of the NDP pushing, was seniors' dental care. That's important to me personally, and I think it's something that was a long time coming. On the other hand, he legalized pot, marijuana. I don't care if you're a user or not, or what your recreational drug or liquor habits are. You can like marijuana or not. The reality of it is it's not a crime. It shouldn't be a crime. And finally, it's not. So, I've got a few things that I view favorably in what he's done. What I have a lot of problem with is the hate campaign that's been fermented by the right wing against him. If you listen to them, he's the most evil man on the planet Earth. I mean, come on. They got signs they're putting up that say, fuck Trudeau. Give me a break, okay? They're calling him a dictator. None of that is appropriate. None of that is true. And I'll tell you the truth. If there's one reason that I hesitate ever supporting the Conservative Party, is because they continue to indulge in campaigns of hate politics. And I won't tolerate that. I don't care what your policies are, how good they are, how strong they might be. If that's the level you're going to, that you're going to encourage division, polarization, and hatred, no thank you. Not interested. As I said, I've always viewed Justin Trudeau as a nice guy, rich kid. Polite, well-behaved, hardly dangerous, not always the brightest guy in a room, but good intentions. I find him to be a very pleasant person who represents our country well, and I'm proud to say he's our prime minister. As I said, I can't say that for all other politicians, including Mr. Poilievre. He can be a pretty rude son of a bitch, I'll tell you that. Now, if Justin does resign, what does it mean to him? Well, first of all, the benefits to him is it will help preserve his legacy. Like a lot of athletes who retire as a champion, as opposed to having losing seasons and then stepping down and retiring. So it would help his legacy. It might even open new opportunities for him. He can move on, like other politicians have, to the United Nations, to something on the world stage. It would also mean that he is helping the country to move ahead with new leadership, and he'd be helping the Liberal Party tremendously. So we get to the Liberal Party. What do they think of it? It's pretty clear that the Liberals want to win the election. They're politicians, okay? And they're convinced now, perhaps correctly, that they can't win with Justin Trudeau at the leadership. So they're going to be pretty happy if he steps down. Now, how would this impact the Conservatives? Well, I think of it like the Biden thing. Trump's campaign had spent all their efforts and was planning to do an entire election campaign based around Joe Biden's age, and he was too old and he was losing it. Well, the same way, the Conservatives have built this whole thing up about Trudeau being a dictator and, how stupid he is. And they pull that rug right out from under them and make them have to deal with, not personalities, but issues, something that they've tended to avoid. I saw Pierre Poilievre on TV yesterday saying, and the headline said, he thinks that Trudeau should resign. But then when you listen to his statement, he didn't say he wants Trudeau to resign at all. He said he wants Trudeau to call an election. He wants to go into an election against Justin Trudeau. He doesn't want him to resign and have a new leadership so that a different leader's opposing him. So that's the impact on the Liberal Party. On the Conservative Party. Now, as far as the Canadian voters go, I think it's a good idea to change leaders every 8, 10, 12 years. So I think that it would be good for Canadians. I think Justin Trudeau has made some mistakes. I think we do need to bring the budget under control. It's going to take some tough measures, but I think the Canadian public would benefit from Justin Trudeau stepping aside. Once again, what do you think about that? Politics is a funny business, and it can get pretty confusing and pretty nasty at times. But I would like to see more people in office who are statesmen, who are patriots, who are public servants trying to serve the common good of the country and its citizens, not seeking power, not trying to be important big shots, not trying to further their own careers. Now, I know that most politicians have that view, and that's what they're trying to do. There are very few politicians in the world who are legitimately in there for their own personal interest and greed. If you want to see one, look south, but we'll get to that some other time. But the more I think about it, the more I realize I think it would be good for Justin Trudeau and for Canada if he stepped aside, take the time to have a leadership convention in the spring or in the January, February after the new year, and let's get out there and have an election and decide where Canada wants to go for the next 4 years and which party they want to lead it, be it the Conservatives, the Liberals, the NDP, or any of the other parties. Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I started this channel about 4 months ago, and to date, my prime focus has been on the American elections because there's so much madness that's gone on down there. But I'm turning my attention home again because there's a lot going on up here, and we're going into an election year. So you're going to be hearing a lot about me. And if you'd like to hear more, please like this video, comment on it, and subscribe to the channel. Listen, you have yourself a great weekend and a great Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody out there. Thanks an awful lot.